So delivery of computing services such as servers, storage, databases, networking, software, analytics, intelligence, and many more options. So the cloud computing delivers all these services over the internet. The term internet here is used as cloud, is referred to as cloud. Okay. So you can see in the slide, the cloud computing provides an alternative to the on-premises data center. With an on-premises data center, we have to manage everything, such as purchasing and installing the hardware, virtualization, installing the operating system, and any other required applications like setting up the network, configuring the firewall, and setting up storage for data. After doing all this setup, we become responsible for maintaining it throughout its entire life cycle. So it really needs a lot of space, funds, and effort to maintain everything by ourselves. The main task comes for maintaining these infrastructure, which will take up a lot of effort and time for the people. Those are managing the resources. But if we choose cloud computing, a cloud provider is responsible for the hardware purchase and maintenance. They also provide a wide variety of software and platform as a service. We can take any required services for rent. The cloud computing services will be charged based on what we use. It's a pay as you use technique. The cloud environment provides an easily accessible online portal that makes handy for the user to manage the compute, storage, network, and application resources. Some cloud service providers are shown in the third figure. Like we have Rackspace, Joint, then Terramark, Google Cloud Platform, IBM Cloud, AWS, VMware, DigitalOcean, and very popular Microsoft Azure. So all these are the cloud providers. So Joint is a software and services company based in San Francisco, California. The company is a leading infrastructure as a service company specializing in cloud computing. It was acquired by Samsung Electronics. Then we have Rackspace. So there are many cloud providers in the market, and we have this Rackspace is an American managed cloud computing company. Similarly, we have other options. So what are the advantages of cloud computing? The advantages are many, but we will see the most common and most practical advantages when we adopt cloud computing. So the first one is cost. It reduces the huge capital costs of buying hardware and software. Then speed. Resources can be accessed in minutes, typically within a few clicks. Then we have scalability. We can increase or decrease the requirement of resources according to the business requirements. Then we have productivity. So while using cloud computing, we put less operational efforts. We do not need to apply patching, as well as no need to maintain hardware and software. So in this way, the IT team can be more productive and focus on achieving business goals. Then we have reliability. Backup and recovery of data are less expensive and very fast for business continuity. Then we have security. Many cloud vendors offer a broad set of policies, technologies, and controls that strengthen the data security. Then what are the types of cloud computing? So cloud computing can be a private cloud, public cloud, or a hybrid cloud. So the public cloud, the cloud resources that are owned and operated by a third-party cloud service provider. So the name is public clouds. It delivers computing resources such as servers, software, and storage over the internet. Then we have private cloud, the cloud computing resources that are exclusively used inside a single business or organization are termed as a private cloud. A private cloud may physically be located on the company's on-site data center or hosted by a third-party service provider. Then we have hybrid cloud. It is a combination of public and private clouds, which is bounded together by technology that allows data applications to be shared between them. Hybrid cloud provides flexibility and more deployment options to the business. So then what are the types of cloud services? You can see in the diagram, we have software as a service, platform as a service, and infrastructure as a service. So the infrastructure as a service can be AWS Elastic Compute Cloud, EC2. Then we have Microsoft Azure, then Google Compute Engine. And for the PaaS, we have Heroku, AWS Elastic Beanstalk, and Google App Engine. Then we have SaaS, the Gmail, Trello, Salesforce CRM, Event Pro, Office 365, Google Docs. In infrastructure as a service, we can rent IT infrastructures like servers and virtual machines, storage networks, operating systems from a cloud service vendor. We can create virtual machine running Windows or Linux and install anything we want on it. Using infrastructure as a service, we don't need to care about the hardware or virtualization software. But other than that, we have to manage everything else. Using infrastructure as a service, we get maximum flexibility, but still we need to put more effort into maintenance. So this is where we adopt only infrastructure as a service. So here we can rent IT infrastructures like service servers and virtual machines, storage, networks, operating systems from a cloud service vendor. We can create virtual machine running Windows or Linux and install anything we want on it. So we don't need to care about hardware or virtualization software, but we have to manage everything else. Next is platform as a service. This service provides an on-demand environment for developing, testing, delivering, and managing the software applications. The developer is responsible for the application, and the PaaS vendor provides the ability to deploy and run it. Using PaaS, the flexibility gets reduced, but the management of the environment is taken care by the cloud vendors. Then we have software as a service. It provides a centrally hosted and managed software services to the end users. It delivers software over the internet on demand and typically on a subscription basis. Example, Microsoft OneDrive, Dropbox, WordPress, Office 365, and Amazon Kindle. SaaS is used to minimize the operational cost to the maximum extent. So we're talking about the types of cloud computing. The first one was public. So let's understand more about these three terms. The public cloud is defined as the compute services offered by third-party providers over the public internet, making them available to anyone who wants to use or purchase them. They may be free or sold on demand, allowing the customers to pay only per usage for the CPU cycles, storage, or bandwidth they consume. So unlike private clouds, public clouds can save companies from the expensive costs of having to purchase, manage, and maintain on-premises hardware and application infrastructure. Unlike private clouds, public clouds can save companies from the expense costs of having to purchase, manage, and maintain on-premises hardware and application infrastructure. The cloud service provider is responsible for all management and maintenance of the system. Public clouds can also be deployed faster than on-premises infrastructures and with an almost infinitely scalable platform. So every employee of a company can use the same application from any office or branch using their device of choice as long as they can access the internet. While security concerns have been raised over public cloud environments, when implemented correctly, the public cloud can be as secure as the most effectively managed private cloud implementation if the provider uses proper security methods, such as intrusion detection and prevention system. Then we have private cloud. So the private cloud is defined as the computing services offered either over the internet or a private internal network, and only to select users instead of the general public. It's also called an internal or corporate cloud and gives business many of the benefits of a public cloud, including self-service, scalability, and elasticity. With the additional control and customization available from dedicated resources over the computing infrastructure hosted on premises. In addition, private cloud delivers a higher level of security and privacy through both company firewalls and internal hosting to ensure operations and sensitive data are not accessible to third-party providers. One drawback is that company's IT department is responsible for the cost and accountability of managing the private cloud. So private clouds require the same staffing, management, and maintenance expenses as traditional data center ownership. Two models for cloud services can be delivered in a private cloud. The first is infrastructure as a service, which allows a company to use infrastructure resources like compute, network, and storage as a service. The second is platform as a service, which lets a company deliver everything from simple cloud-based applications to sophisticated enabled enterprise applications. Private clouds can be also combined with public clouds to create a hybrid cloud, allowing the business to take advantage of cloud bursting to free up more space and scale computing to the public cloud when computing demand increases. So then we'll see hybrid cloud. The new generation of hybrid cloud enables to build and manage across any cloud with a common platform, allowing you to scale once, build once, and manage from a single pane of glass. So a hybrid cloud, sometimes called a cloud hybrid, is a computing environment that combines an on-premises data center with a public cloud, allowing data and applications to be shared between them. Some people define hybrid cloud to include multi-cloud configurations, where an organization uses more than one public cloud in addition to their on-premises data center. So what are the benefits of hybrid cloud? So no matter which definition of hybrid cloud we use, the benefits are the same. When computing and processing demand increases beyond an on-premises data center's capabilities, business can use the cloud to instantly scale capacity up or down to handle excess capacity. It also allows them to avoid the time and cost of purchasing, installing, and maintaining new servers that they may not always need. So what are the regulatory issues with using a hybrid cloud model? For industries that work with highly sensitive data, such as banking, finance, government, and healthcare, hybrid may be their best cloud option. For example, some regulated industries require certain types of data to be stored on premises, while allowing less sensitive data to be stored on the cloud. In this kind of hybrid cloud architecture, organizations gain the flexibility of the public cloud for less regulated computing tasks, while still meeting their industry requirements. So organizations can use a hybrid cloud platform, are able to use many of the same security measures that they use in their existing on-premises infrastructure, including the security information and event management. In fact, some organizations find cloud hybrid security to be more superior than that of their on-premises data center because of always up-to-date automated data redundancy, high availability, disaster recovery, and cybersecurity features. So it's basically a cloud computing environment that uses a mix of on-premises, private, and third-party and public cloud services with orchestration between these platforms. This typically involves a connection from an on-premises data center to the public cloud. The connection also can involve other private assets, including edge devices or other clouds. So A hybrid cloud model allows enterprises to deploy workloads in private IT environments or public clouds and move between them as computing needs and costs change. This gives a business greater flexibility and more data deployment options. A hybrid cloud workload includes the networking, hosting, and web service features of an application. While the terms are sometimes discussed interchangeably, there are key differences between hybrid and multi-cloud models. A hybrid cloud creates a single environment to operate both in on-premises private resources and in public cloud resources, such as those offered by AWS, Microsoft, and Google. A multi-cloud environment consists of two or more public cloud providers, but does not require a private or on-premises component. So hybrid cloud computing enables an enterprise to deploy its most sensitive workloads in an on-premises cloud and to host less critical resources on a third-party public cloud vendor. This approach allows organizations to get the best of both private and public cloud models. So the core benefits of hybrid cloud include flexibility, cost management, agility and scalability, resiliency and interoperability, then compliance. Compliance restrictions on where data can reside means organizations in highly regulated industries cannot move all workloads to the public cloud. With hybrid cloud, organizations can keep data in a private environment while operating workloads in the cloud, or they can operate workloads in a private data center and move data to and from the public cloud as needed. To increase resiliency, a business can run workloads redundantly in both private and public environments. Components of one workload can also run in both environments and they can also interoperate. Hybrid cloud offers more resources options via public cloud providers versus an organization's physical data center. This makes it easier to provision, deploy, and scale resources to meet demand spikes. When demand exceeds capacity of the local data center, an organization can burst the application to the public cloud to access extra scale and capacity. With a private cloud, organizations own and operate the data center infrastructure, which requires significant capital expense and fixed costs. Alternatively, the public cloud offers resources and services that are accounted as variable and operational expenses. But hybrid cloud users can choose to run workloads in whichever environment is more cost effective. So this was the introduction to different cloud computing types. We will see more about hybrid cloud in the next session.